Morning, Pete. It's a beautiful day. We've got the rowers already started on the line. It's 1,000 meters. In lane 1, furthest away from the grandstand, we've got Julia Witkowskias from Glebe. In lane 2, Elizabeth Lester from Glebe. In 3, we've got an empty lane. It's been a scratch. In lane 4 from Glebe as well is Heidi Lindell. In lane 5 from Lake Macquarie is Lisa Griesel. In lane 6 from Nepean is Vanessa Edwards. From Glebe again, in lane 7, Jacqueline Harris. From Shoalhaven in lane 8 is Katrina Davis. And nearest to us in lane 9 is Sarah Hill. And from this position in the commentator box, it's hard to see as they go off as the sun's still quite low. There's a bit of reflection of the sun off the water. From this angle, it looks like Katrina Davis from Shoalhaven might have a slight nose out in front from Jacqueline Harris from Glebe. That's lane 8 and 7.
Yeah, and in this Division 1 of the women's Masters single, it is over 1K, which does make the racing a little closer. You can see if you've got a draw in front of you. If not, we have a couple of rowers going off go. So that's the C-grade events, the C-grade races. There is one B-grade racer, and they'll be going off 3 seconds. So 2 B-grade races. And then there's also 2 A-grade races going off 5 seconds. So they're the handicaps that the scullers will have, and that might change as they come a bit further in. And it looks here, Nathan, like they're going through the 500. And it will be probably that sculler on the near end here. So that would either be Shoalhaven's Katrina Davis or Mossman's Sarah Hill leading this race at the present. I believe that will be Shoalhaven's Katrina Davis.
Yeah, looks like it. I think Sarah's dropped off in lane 9 a bit. Katrina Davis and Jacqueline Harris. But yeah, as we approach the finish line, the Masters A scullers in the far side and B scullers who were 5 and 3 seconds respectively handicapped, you'd have expected them to start to wind it up to the finish. So they should, in theory, cross the line altogether.
Yeah, it should be a good race, this one. Especially the 2 Glebe scullers off 5 seconds didn't seem too far behind. So you would assume that they'll be charging back up to meet Katrina Davis there at the finish line. And you can see them on the far side. You can see Elizabeth Lester there on the far side just having a real go at it, raising her rate of striking by quite a bit. So she might be one to watch here coming into the final 250 metres of this race.
Don't think you can get more perfect conditions today. Not too warm. The wind should start picking up around about 10:30, but I don't think it will be anything significant. It will pick up later in the day, in the afternoon, I'm sure, but at the moment it is absolutely glass-like out there as they come into the last 150 meters. Certainly looks like Katrina Davies has got a couple of boat lengths.
Looks like she'll retain that lead, won't she?
I think so. Elizabeth Lester on the far side is the only one who looks like she can compete with her, but actually, it looks pretty good for Katrina Davis from Shoalhaven.
A good race there for the minor placings. It looks like we might have Elizabeth Lester here racing against Jacqueline Harris from Glebe in lane 7. There might be a little bit of a tussle going on there.
Yeah. Katrina Davies crosses the line there. It's going to be very close for second between Glebe and Glebe. Oh, it's very close.
Almost just lane 7, I think, there, but it was a very, very close one. 0.39 of a second unofficially. And then
a great race.
Finalising our field there, I think in lane 1 we have Julia Witkowska.
That's right. So, yeah. So, initial results say Katrina Davies from Shoalhaven won that. Second was Elizabeth Lester from Glebe. Third, Jacqueline Harris from Glebe, just 0.39 of a second behind. In fourth place from Glebe, Heidi Lindell. In fifth place from Lake Macquarie in fifth place from Lake Macquarie was Lisa Griesel. In sixth place from Mossman, Sarah Hill. In seventh place, Julia Vikovskia. And the rowers from Lake Macquarie and Nepean did not start or had scratched.
Yep, and we now move through to race 107, the Women's Masters Single Scull Division 2. So in C grade here, we have 3 scullers. Off Glebe, we have Kate Wareham, Trudy McDonald, and Anne Skilton. They're all C grade. They'll be going off 5 seconds. The D grade scullers, who will be going off go, will finalise the field with Sophia Champion, Julie Underwood, Edith DeBoer, Rosalie Furness, Michelle Duzel, my apologies, and Jules Bosco. So those 5 scullers, I believe, will be going off go, and then lane 1, 2, and 3 will be C-grade athletes going off 5 seconds. So they might be charging back towards the latter stage of the race.
I always remember myself as a younger master always feeling very, very disadvantaged when the buzzer goes and you have to sit there and wait and wait. 5 seconds is a very long time as the other crews go away from you.
Yeah, it's my first year of it this year, so I'm sure I'll have that to look forward to.
It's not a happy transition, let me tell you.
And it looks like some of those C-grade athletes might be in the lead already, to be honest, from the 500 there.
I think the Trudy McDonald in lane 2, from where I see it, has absolutely shot out of the blocks, even though she was 5 seconds down.
Yeah, that's quite impressive.
Shot out of the blocks.
I'm sure she'll be excited for the 500-metre racing later today if she's doing that. It does look at the 500 like it will be Trudy McDonald.
Yeah.
And then followed there, looks like all of those C-grade athletes did have quite a good start there and were pretty dominant at the 500. So it'll be good to see what happens there. It looks like it might almost be Sophia Champion there in lane 4. That is still tussling.
She's a D grade, and then she's a D grade rower, and then also Michelle Duzel from Lake Macquarie in lane 8.
Yeah, yep. All athletes probably to look out for here in the last 250 metres or so. And it will probably at this stage look like it'll be a tussle here between Trudy McDonald there, and I believe that's either Sophia Champion or Julie Underwood. And we'll see when they come a bit further. I'm not too sure if that's lane 4 or lane 5 at this point. The sun's just obscuring vision just a touch. But certainly some good rowing there by Trudy McDonald. You can see she's getting her blades in quite cleanly. Really looks like she's got a good handle of the rowing stroke. So
yeah, that's Julia Underwood from Corolla actually. So
yes, it is.
Yeah, great. Gosh, Trudy McDonald has come out of the blocks after being 5 seconds behind. Absolutely stormed the first 250 metres. Looking actually quite comfortable now. Trudy McDonald in lane 2 from Lake Macquarie. Crosses the line. A length and a half in front of Cora was Julia Underwood. And in lane 8 from Lake Macquarie, Michelle Duzel. A couple of lengths behind. Endeavour Rowing Club's Rosalie Furness. Then from Mossman, Edith DeBoer. Glebe's Anna Skilton. In lane 4 from the University of New South Wales, Sophia Champion crosses the line. Jules Bosco from Newcastle Uni. And on the far side, Kate Wareham from Glebe just brings up the rest of the field. So the unofficial results there in race 107, the Women's Masters Single Scull Division 2 from Lake Macquarie, Trudy McDonald finished in 4 minutes 17. In second place from Corowa, Julia Underwood. In third place from Lake Macquarie, Michelle Duzel. Then in fourth, Rosalie Furness from Endeavour. Edith DeBoer from Mossman in fifth. Glebe's Anne Skilton in sixth. University of New South Wales, Sophia Cameron finishes seventh. Jules Bosco from Newcastle University finishes 8th. And Kate Wareham from Glebe finishes 9th.
Lovely, and we now move to race 108, which is the Division 3 of the Women's Masters Single Scull. From lane 1, St George, we have Amanda Burnt. From lane 2, Drummoyne, Janine Donovan. Lane 3 from Balmain, we have Renata Ipma. Lane 4 from St George, Joanne Ward. Lane 5 from Lake Macquarie, we have Anne Harcombe. Lane 6 from Drummoyne has been scratched. Lane 7 from Mossman, M. Barrack. Lane 8 from Drummoyne, Caroline Vernon. Lane 9 from Mossman, we have Christine Foxton. A couple of them there, coached by Robin Mackney, a fantastic coach out of Drummoyne, who's been doing some very good things for a number of years. Wife of Kim Mackney, another very distinguished Olympian out of both Glebe and Drummoyne.
Looks like early showing says that Caroline Vernon in lane 8. And M. Barrack from Mossman in lane 7. Slight noses ahead. I think it's actually M. Barrack from Mossman may have got her nose in front. It's the E Masters, the Masters who are running E class, who seem to have been okay. But the two rowers from St George and Drummoyne on the far side, the D Masters rowers, are going to push them right to the wire.
Yeah, it looks like they're really they're bringing a bit of physicality there. There's 2 D rows on lane 1 and 2.
Yeah.
They look like they're really having a crack at it. But we have this sculler here in lane 7, Mossman M. Barrack, who might just might be able to pip him just at the line. It'll depend who has
Come
the
down
better
to it.
finish.
Looks like Amanda Barron from St George on the far side. She's up to strike rating a bit. She's going to go for it.
Yeah, she's having a crack, and she would have seen those red buoys, which indicates the last 100 metres of the race.
Yeah, and she's definitely put the hammer down there. Powering to the finish of both St George and Drummoyne rode through Mossman. Looks like they have. Amanda Barron has, couple of lengths lead.
Yep.
St George rower Amanda Barron takes the win there. Very close for second place between Drummoyne and Mossman. Drummoyne just get it over M. Barrack from Mossman. In 4th place from Lake Macquarie and Harcombe. 5th is Balmain. Ooh, it's going to be a photo between lane 8 and lane 4.
That was very close on
St
there.
George and Drummoyne there. And Christine Foxton from Mossman in lane 9. Brings up the end of the field there. Very close there.
Yeah,
Between a couple of those.
That'll be a good photo there for, I think that was the 7th place, my apologies, yeah.
Between 6th and 7th, yeah.
0.18 unofficially, but we'll see how that goes.
We'll just wait for that result to come through.
Yeah.
But race 108, leading the pack by about 4.5 seconds. St George's Amanda Barrett in 2nd from Drummoyne, Janine Donovan. In 3rd from Mossman M. Barrack, just pipped on the line by just over half a second. In 4th place from Lake Macquarie was Anne Harcombe. In 5th place from Balmain, Renate Ipma. Absolute photo between Carolyn Vernon and Joanne Ward. And in 8th place, we have Christine Foxton from Mossman.
Yeah. And that official time was, I think, 0.26 of a second, so not much in that at all.
Yeah, it's Drummoyne's Caroline Vernon, just pips St George's Joanne Ward for 6th place.
And as we move through to Division 4 of the Women's Masters Single, we can see there's a bit more of a handicap here for the F, G and H athletes. So the F athletes, we have Mika Kelly, Christine McCready, Diane McShane, Mary Walsh, and they will all be off 22 seconds. So that's a hell of a distance for 1,000 metres. I'm glad I'm not off 22 seconds, but good luck to them. The G athletes also off 13 seconds, also quite an ask. We have Chris Brennan, Kerry Thorne, and Lindy Nesbitt. And so those are G athletes off 13 seconds. And the winner today, handicap-wise, is our H athlete Anne Taylor, who will be off go. So she'll have quite a lead on these other athletes at 13 seconds and 22 seconds. So we can probably assume at the 1,000 that lane 8 Mossman, Anne Taylor, should have a bit of a lead here on the rest of the field. And it looks like as we're getting to the 500, it looks like that is the case.
Yeah, that's right. Anne Taylor, fair to say, an absolute veteran of the sport, coached by Kieran Glynn, one of the several Irish coaching contingency down at Mossman. He'll be happy with this result, I'm sure.
Yeah, it looks like she's rowing quite well as well. She's got quite a good handle on the stroke there when she was going past the 500-meter camera. So that should help her definitely in this race.
Yeah, it's fair to say she's an experienced racer and rower.
Yeah, this race does have quite a number of names that have been around for a while there, with Lindy Nesbitt, Kerry Thorne. There's quite a few athletes here that have been definitely part of the sport for a number of years. So very good to see them all in one race. It looks at this point like it will still be Anne Taylor in the lead there, even through the 250.
Yeah.
At least from this angle. When it comes past the grandstand, it'll give us a little bit of a better picture. Definitely from now. As they're coming through to the last 250 metres, it will probably be Anne Taylor. It looks like she might be getting pressured just a little bit here in lane 5, probably by Chris Brennan, unless I'm mistaken. And then I believe lane 2, St George, Christine McCready. All look like they're going to be the scullers that are fighting for first place, but I think Anne Taylor's almost made up just a bit of a lead there from the 500-meter mark.
Yeah, Anne's just realised she's got to up the stroke rate. She's looking across the far side of the lake, looking at Christine McCready, who's also sculling at a much higher rate, going for the win.
And that's always a hard race when you're racing the person opposite the course. You want to look around, but you know it'll make you go slower. But Anne Taylor is a veteran and knows that, and so she's keeping her head in the boat, and she's just powering along, and it looks like it's working for her, and I think she will take this race out.
She's, just probably, as she comes across, Anne Taylor, picture of professionalism, crosses the line, a length and a half in front of Christine McCready from Glebe. In third place in lane 5 from Endeavour is Chris Brennan. In fourth from North Shore, Mary Walsh. In fifth is Lindsay Nesbitt from Endeavour. Sixth in lane 3 is Diane McShane. In lane 6 from Leichhardt, Kerry Thorne. And on the far side, Mika Kelly. At 22 seconds, long time to make up. Crosses the line in 8th.
Yeah, that's a hell of a handicap.
Yeah.
Although we've got an even bigger one, I think, here for race 110. We have University of New South Wales, Chris Byrne and Michael Pickford, and they're an A-grade crew, so they're going to be going off 35 seconds, which again isn't something I'd want to be doing. Leichhardt, St George are both C-grade crews. Richard Medway, the father of the great James Medway, a world-class athlete, and Quorn Guillemez, my apologies, and Cromwell Oliver and Prasad Girabalan. So they're C-grade athletes. They're going to be going off 31 seconds. E-grade athletes here off 22 seconds. We have Peter Bowman, Tim Blomfield, Richard Robelod, and Robert Ferndl. They'll be going off 22 seconds. The F-grade athletes off 17 seconds. We have James Arney, Harry Fine, as well as Mark Tejan, one of our commentary professionals, and Kenny Major. And then we have our H-grade athletes off go. We have Terry Barella and Michael Hayes.
so hoping these veterans smash the youngsters, to be
I know,
honest.
yeah, me too, to
Yeah.
a large extent. I
Yeah.
think it's the H grade athletes. It's so good to see as you get to that age, just coming out and having an absolute crack at it. And racing's hard for anyone, let alone as you get older, you'd love to see it. It's somewhere I'd like to be at that age.
I am at that age. Yeah. 30
We'll have to-
seconds.
we'll have-
35 seconds is a long way.
Yeah. No, it's not a
But
distance.
it looks like the guys from Glebe in lane 8. They've definitely pushed away from the boats from Abbotsford on their left, which they had a 17-second disadvantage to. So they've pushed past very quickly, as of the guys from Mossman as well. But the guys on the far side from the University of New South Wales, the youngsters Chris Burns and Michael Pickford, they are coming like a steam train. 35 seconds behind. They've made up probably at least half the field already, and they're still going to go to the line.
Yep, they're really having a bit of intensity there in that lane 1 crew from University of New South Wales, but definitely the Glebe crew, that F grade crew, Mark Tejan and Kenny Major.
Yeah.
Having a very good race today.
Wily old hands at this, I am absolutely sure.
They sure are. They've been around for a while, both of them. Kenny Major did a couple of Penrith Cups won the Penrith Cup back in, I think it was 93. Oh, no, sorry, 98. My apologies. 98 and 99. So Kenny Major, an old lightweight, and a very, very experienced oarsman, has been in the sport for years and years. Mark Tejan, fantastic bloke, same sort of story. And that University of New South Wales crew, I think, is muscle through to get second place at this point.
But age before beauty, as they say, is the victor today. Mark Tejan from Glebe, Kenny Major from Glebe, crossing the line actually very comfortably, to be honest. Several boat lengths up from the University of New South Wales. Chris Burns and Michael Pickford in second. The guys from Mossman holding off for third place. Just there from St. George in fourth by a length. The gentleman from Abbotsford crossed the line in fifth. Endeavour's Peter Bowman and Tim Blomfield in sixth. We had a couple of scratches in that race. But yeah, it looks like in race 110, the men's Masters double scull. It was a great win for Glebe. Mark Tejan and Kenny Majors. Official time of 4:01. Behind them was University of New South Wales, 12 and a half seconds behind. Mossman in third place. Fourth place, St. George. Fifth, Abbotsford. Sixth, Endeavour. And Leichhardt and Glebe both scratched.
Yeah, good race there to watch that one. We now move to race 111, the women's C-D grade double scull. So we're out of the Masters events and into the grade events now. In lane 1, we have North Shore's Zeta Briones and Ruth Gibson. In lane 2, University of New South Wales, Charlotte Stanwicks, Ashley Potter. In lane 3 from Penrith, we have Arabella Logan and Zoe Winnister. In lane 4, North Shore has scratched, so we won't be having lane 4 in this race. In lane 5, University of New South Wales, Samantha Backler and Heather Cox. In lane 6 from Hunter Valley Grammar School, we have Matilda Percival and Sienna McKenzie. In lane 7 from University of New South Wales, we have Gabrielle Hardine and Elizabeth Raffin. And in lane 8 from Drummoyne, we have Alexandra McCluskey-Voigt and Rebecca Giles.
And it looks like early showing the University of New South Wales boat of Haradine and Raffin. In lane 7, bit of a lead across everybody else.
Yep, they've got a good commanding lead in that one, haven't they?
Seems like in early racing, this lane 7 and 8 lanes seem to be going off quite quickly, but the wind is absolutely negligible, so maybe it's just luck of the draw.
Yeah, 100%. And University of New South Wales have been having a pretty good regatta this last 2 days, day and a half. They've got a decent amount of athletes here out in the park, which is fantastic to see, and the Regatta has been quite busy, which is very good. I was talking to Howard Croker earlier in the week, and he was saying it was really good to see so many people in the sport of rowing and getting around the regattas and the racing.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic.
1,100 participants yesterday, which
Yeah.
is a great result.
That's very
Slightly less today, the shorter, but yeah, it's great to see.
Yeah,
What a wonderful day it is for it.
100%. Yeah.
But the other boats seem to have come back on the quick starting University of Wales, University of New South Wales, Harradine and Raffin. Seems to be a couple of boats pushing back, not so much, well, possibly even their compatriots, Backler and Cox in lane 5, pushing them right to the finish.
It does look a bit like it's the two UNSW crews that are
battling out
through.
for bragging rights.
Yeah, and it looks like just a really good, brave last 150 metre push here by this lane 5 crew.
Yeah, nice long, kept the length in the stroke there, quite controlled, strong finish to the
and the other
finish.
The other
really
UNSW
nice.
crew in lane 2 actually might
absolutely
start coming back up as well.
Here we go. University of New South Wales looks like they're going to take the clean sweep. But it's Backler and Cox in lane 5, take the win. Strong finish there from Stanwix and Potter to finish second. Just half a length in front of the boat of Harradine and Raffin, all from New South Wales. And the top from the North Shore, looks like 4th. Penrith finished 5th. Strong finish there from Drummoyne to finish 6th. And in lane 6, Hunter Valley Grammar, Percival and Mackenzie. So, University of New South Wales take all the medal spots in this race. In first place, Backler and Cox, 3.5 seconds behind Stanwix and Potter, and in third place, Harradine and Raffin, all from University of New South Wales, first, second and third. In fourth place from North Shore, Briones and Gibson. Fifth place from Penrith, Logan and Weisner. In sixth place from Drummoyne, McCluskey, Voigt and Giles. And in sixth place from Hunter Valley Grammar, Percival and Mackenzie.
Yeah, and it's great to see the school grade athletes there racing against some of the club athletes and, vice versa. It's really good to see that mix. And it gives them a bit of a pathway, I guess, after school on what they're doing. And we see race 112 here underway. The start just 7 seconds in, and this is the women's CD grade double division 2, so we only have 2 divisions of these, so this will be the second. We have Kerry Blatchley and Teresa Chadwick in lane 2. In lane 3 from Abbotsford, Rosemary Hancock and Yvonne Connick. In lane 4 from University of New South Wales, we have Isabella Niven and Caitlin Malquini. In lane 5 from Shellhaven, we have Rebecca Cook and Georgina Owens. In lane 6 from St George, we have Beth Jacobs and Lily Featherston, coached by Mark Featherston. In lane 7 from Glebe, we have Blindy Rowe and Cecil Furr. In lane 8 from University of New South Wales, we have Annabelle Singh and Adelaide Webster, coached by Chris Burns.
Yep, just off the start, the crew in lane 7 from Glebe, Belindy Rowe and Cecily Fair, bouncing along the boys. A bit of a struggle, bit of a misalignment off the start, but they seem to have corrected themselves now. But they were struggling a bit at one stage.
And you do see that, especially in these shorter races where it's a bit more intense, you get that element where there's little things that might get in the way, like the boys, the placement of the boys, things like that, and gives you an idea of the challenges that some of the athletes, even in those longer races, will have to counteract and make sure. It gives you an idea of what they avoid from day to day and are able to avoid. Seeing some of these, maybe the lower grade races when they hit the boys, or they might catch a crab or something like that. It really puts it all into perspective a little bit.
Yeah, it gets pretty hectic. And obviously, with such a shorter race, the start is going to be so much more crucial. Even in a 2,000 meter race, you've always got that period of start, then settle, and then push for the finish. But it seems in the 1,000 meter race, you just don't have, even a second to let off. It's go from the gun and away everybody goes.
Yep, and does sort of get you excited for the 500 meter racing that we'll see later on today, because that will be very much just start heavy. Who can start the best? But it looks at this point, I missed it there at the 500, but I think it might have been around lane 4 there. I think lane 4 or 5 leading this race. University of New South Wales or Shellhaven. I believe University of New South Wales at this point.
I think so. I think it's from where we see here.
And these are all D grade doubles as well. So the previous race, it was the C D grade double skull, and they were all C grade doubles. And they've grouped all of the D grade doubles in for this second division.
Yeah.
So
I think it could be between University of New South Wales and St George in lane 6. So University of New South Wales, I think it looks like lane 4, maybe Shellhaven. I can't really see the bow number at the moment.
But yeah, St George having a very good crack there as well, aren't they? They're trying to push there in that other University of New South Wales crew from lane 8. So they'll be fighting for the minor placings, but they are in the mix, and they're
so University of New South Wales in lane 4. Then there's St George and certainly University of New South Wales on the near side as well in lane 8, who are just having a slight course correction as they near the buoy. But yes, it looks like it might be another University of New South Wales podium finish for both boats. A long way in front now, actually, as they start to unwind. So Universities of New South Wales, Niven and McQuinley, lane 4.
And again, those University of New South Wales crews really
across the line,
dominating today.
Yeah, absolutely. Being pushed in lane 8, Singh and Webster from University of New South Wales take second place. Oh, it's going to be tight for third place. Very tight for third place. Oh, that's going to be a photo between St George and Glebe.
Looked like it was in those last 2 strokes.
Yeah.
Glebe might have just edged ahead.
And Abbotsford just pip Shoalhaven on the line. And in lane 2, we've got Newcastle Uni.
And you can see on the screen there the finish between Glebe. Oh, that's a very close one.
Yeah, as we're watching the video monitors up here, it is very, very close indeed.
It looked almost like it might have been Glebe there, but we'll see when the official results come out, because I'm not a brave enough man to call that one.
Well, there's official results. So there we go. First and second place, University of New South Wales. In third place, Glebe. And in fourth place, by 0.08 of a second, is St George. So not much more than a bow ball there. In fifth, Abbotsford. In sixth, Shoalhaven. And in seventh, Newcastle Uni. Tightest finish of the race of the day so far.
Yeah, that's a fantastic one. That's 0.08. That's absolutely nothing. And we do move to a decent 40-minute lunch break here. So it looks like the next race will be at 8:50, and that'll be the Women's Masters Pair Division 1. So we will probably leave you for about, it's time now, 8:19. Yep. So we'll leave you for about 30 minutes, and we'll be back for the Women's Masters Pair.
Great. And welcome back to race 113. It's the women's masters pair. It's Division 1. And on the far side, in lane 2, we have University of New South Wales, Matthews and Hart. In lane 3, from the North Shore, Lash and Kennedy. In lane 4, from Leichhardt, Hutchinson and Brigham. In lane 5, from the North Shore, Byrne and Boland. From Newcastle, in lane 6, Dad and Watson. And from the North Shore Rowing Club in lane 7, Horrigan and Judges. Starting a bit early. Again, this is a handicapped race. So we've got masters ranging from A on the far side to D on the near side, nearest the grandstand. The masters D go on the bell. Then we have Leichhardt and the North Shore boats, who are in the C category, who have a 5-second handicap. And then on the far side from the University of New South Wales, in lane 1, they have a 10-second handicap. And the early showing is that actually the C and D rowers are all much of a muchness at the moment. Might be that the North Shore's Byrne and Boland might just have their noses in front. Halfway to go. This being 1,000 meters. As they're coming to the finish line, looks like it's going to be a close race. North Shore, Leichhardt and Newcastle, all in the middle of the field. The University of New South Wales boat in the far lane, lane 1, doesn't seem to have been able to make up that 10-second gap much. The rowers coming to the last 250 meters now. Looks like the North Shore rowers of Helen Byrne and Catherine Boland have got their noses out in front at this stage.
Yeah, quite an impressive distance to make up there with a 5-second handicap. It's quite impressive for those two crews on the near side there that were off go.
Yeah, it's nice to see pairs again. You know, we see so many sculling boats, but having done a lot of racing myself in a pair, I do enjoy a good pairs race, to be honest.
Yeah, me too, me too. You get an appreciation of just how difficult they are and how technical of a boat it is. Just compared to anything else, it's a bit of a different beast, the pair.
Yeah, absolutely. And as they come up the last 50 meters here, it's like the boat in lane 5 from North Shore, Byrne and Boland, maybe a length on the compatriots Lash and Kennedy in lane 2, but they're going to be pushed by Leichhardt, who've got only half a length down on them. So, yeah, North Shore's Byrne and Boland cross the finish line, followed by the compatriots Lash and Kennedy in second, and Hutchinson and Brigham in third. Fourth place looks like it's going to be Newcastle's Dad and Watson, 3/4 of a length from the boat in lane 2 from University of New South Wales. As Rebecca Horrigan and Samantha Judge just crossed the line, seems to be a bit of an issue there, just in the last few strokes.
Yeah, it is always good to see this pair racing. And as we said before, a very difficult boat to row. And the women's masters pair, they're not failing to deliver. It was quite a good standing. And we'll come here to Division 2 of the women's masters pair. So we have a 29-second handicap, so we can see them on our screen going away there. That's Skye Smith and Colleen Chapman. They will get their lead from the F grade pairs. That's Peggy McBride and Nikki Blackwell, and they're heading off now. We also have Virginia Fabro and Sally Edwards, both off F grade. The next crew going off will be a G grade crew, and they will be going off now. That's the crews of Susan Walter and Julie Wass, and I believe there might be a disparity there. I think there was 2 crews going off there, so
yeah,
it looks
like it, yeah.
maybe that North Shore crew might be G grade as well. And and the H grade crew going off go, and they will, my apologies, no, sorry, they would have gone off before. I'm reading it backwards. But the crew that went off go would have been Lydia Maldonovic and Alex Warner. So I was reading it backwards there, but that last crew to go off there would have been Sky Smith and Colleen Chapman.
Yeah, again, a big gap to overcome.
Yeah, 29 seconds in a pair. That's not a small task.
No.
You would hope that they're well drilled enough to, especially over this 1,000 metre race, be able to just muscle their way through. But yeah, definitely a big handicap there for the women's Masters Pair Division 2.
The older I get, these handicaps look friendlier and friendlier.
I think if I was to have my hand at it, I'd be off go now. So
Yeah.
maybe I might have to wait. Might have to wait a couple of years. Get my sweet 29-second handicap.
Yeah.
But the pair, really anything can happen. It's just such a difficult boat to row that there's not much room for error. So you can get these crews going off go, and they might just row maybe 2% less efficiently than the next crew, and that will just make all the difference to boat speed, to everything, and it just means that the whole thing can come unraveled. So especially in the pairs, that the handicaps don't make as much of a difference. You have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah, there's no real hiding in a pair. It's either you or your fellow compatriot in the boat. That's why I think it's one of my favorite boats to row.
Yeah.
When it flies, it really goes well.
Yeah, fantastic boat to row well.
Yeah. When it doesn't, it's a horrible thing.
Yeah. Especially if you're doing a whole season in a bad pair, you'll know about it. So hopefully these guys are well drilled enough. They know what they're doing enough to row these pairs well.
I would have thought most of these guys would have been sitting in pairs for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, those athletes that have been in the sport for a while and have been doing it since they were young, surely they'd have that ability in that boat feel, that touch and feel, to be able to just move the pair in a very efficient way. It looks like their lane, I believe that's lane 6 North Shore, seem to have had a bit of a lead. Maybe that's, my apologies, lane 4 or 5 there. Either way, there's quite a few North Shore crews in this one.
Looks like the 3 North Shore crews in the middle. Maybe it's the McBride and Blackwell in lane 4.
Steering issues there from Drummoyne. The E-grade crew in lane 3. Looks like they've just gone over through to lane 2, lane 1. Which isn't the end of the world in these races when we do have a decent size.
And as we come up to the last 100 metres, looks like McBride and Blackwell have got their nose in front of Walter and Was from the North Shore. Bragging rights will prevail, maybe.
Yeah, no, with a 22-second handicap, that's quite an impressive distance to make up and then to overcome. So we can see they are rowing that pair quite nicely. You know, it's in the pair especially, it's a lot about just that timing at the front end. You get a lot of leverage up there, so you really don't want to be out of time. It will just pull that whole boat around and mess everything up. So you can see that's something they're doing very well, is just getting that blade in together.
So McBride and Blackwell, comfortable winners there. And it's the two boats from the North Shore pushing each other to the finish in lane 5 and 6. And Walter and Was just take it from Virginia Fabro and Sally Edwards in 3rd.
And a very good push there from lane 6.
Yeah, it was really nice actually. In lane 7, Drummoyne finish a commendable 4th place. And on the far side, Sky Smith, Colleen Chapman, 29 seconds behind. Should take up 5th. Long gap for those guys. Beautiful weather today. It's going to feel warmer later on. It's a comfortable 20, 21 at the moment. There's a slight breeze from the northeast. It will pick up, but not much, not as much as yesterday.
Quite a nice morning here today. It's
Yeah.
it is pretty good. And yesterday, I know towards those latter races, we had a bit of a crosswind, a bit of a tailwind. My apologies, happening. So we'll see. Hopefully, it stays pretty consistent because this is quite nice today. This sort of weather we've got.
Next race is race 115, 115. It's the men's Masters single scull. Albeit that doesn't look like single scullers out on the water. Looks like a pair, does it?
It might be from the last race, I think. Yep. Yeah, there's some single sculls.
Yeah,
down
okay,
there.
the single sculls down there.
On
Yeah.
the
So the
far
next
end.
race is 115. It's a men's Masters single scull, Division 1 in lane 1. And we've got Bo Fleming from Lake Macquarie. In lane 2 from the University of New South Wales, Mohammed Eid. In lane 3 from Lake Macquarie is Ivan Bonus. In lane 4 from Glebe is Anthony Colley. In lane 5 from Lake Macquarie, AJ Rooney. From St George in lane 6 is Christopher Jones. In lane 7 from Mossman is Alexander Deutsch. And in lane 8, nearest the grandstand from the University of New South Wales, is James Halliday. This is a Masters handicapped race, and we go all the way from Division A right through to Division D. So on go, James Halliday will go. Alexander Deutsch will go. St George's Christopher Jones will go. 4 seconds behind them is Rooney, Colley, and Bonus from Lake Macquarie, Glebe, Lake Macquarie and Glebe respectively. And then finally, 8 seconds behind that, we have Bo Fleming from Lake Macquarie, sprightly young age of 27. So 27-year-old racing, 52-year-olds at the other end.
Yeah.
Just lining up.
And not a huge handicap there. Between the two, we've got probably 8 seconds.
8 seconds, yeah.
So that should be, I'd say, probably geared in the favour of Bo Fleming, the 27-year-old. 8 seconds. It's still a decent handicap, but probably not as much as we've seen this regatta. So
yeah, it's certainly not a 29-second handicap.
Yeah, definitely.
We saw in the pairs before.
And a bit of a slow start there, just from one of the scullers. Looks like just caught a little bit of rough water. And that 8 seconds really flew by, so that A-grade sculler is off and away. And it looks like he's not rating quite as highly as the D-grade sculler here. I think that's Christopher Jones, probably on the near side. Looks like he's probably rating a little bit higher there than our A-grade sculler, Bo Fleming. So we'll see. In this 1K race, you can sort of get away with muscling it along a bit, but you still do want to get that rating up a bit more than you'd see with some of the 2K races that we'll see here today. And it looks like a pretty dominating start there from the sculler here on the near side. I believe that would probably be that sculler in lane 7, Alexander
Deutsch, yeah, from Mossman, yeah.
Yep. And quite a good lead there, so he's gone off go. But I dare to say that the handicaps at the start probably weren't quite the length that he's gotten off on the rest of the field. So he's really rocketed away at the start of this 1,000-metre race.
Yeah, that's the start looked a bit frenetic, to be honest. I don't think the handicaps were exactly as timing as you'd expect.
Yeah, it seemed like a bit of a quick count.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's the JB Sharp handicap single special, I think. That quick start. It's gotten pulled up for a couple of them in my time.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, Alex Deutsch from Mossman. I think he's done a great job. Got off an absolute flyer. Dropped his the two boats on either side of him from New South Wales and University of New South Wales and St George.
Yeah, he continues to lengthen out. He looks like he's dropped his rate just a fraction, which he can afford to do at this point. And it's probably a smart decision just to avoid any unnecessary mistakes. So he's probably there rating about, I think, maybe 28.30. But just able to cleanly row that boat across the line. He is rowing quite well.
Lovely. Candy stripes of Mossman, my old boat club. Very proud to see it.
And they have changed their duty a little bit, Mossman, haven't they?
I think
like
so,
they've
yeah.
put those little stripes on the side, similar to the sort of 2012 Australian duties that they had, maybe 2016 back in the day. A good-looking Zudi and some good-looking rowing as well.
Yeah, stands out.
As Alexander has a very...
Alexander Deutsch, great row. And you know what? Looks like he's absolutely smashed that, even the handicap racer. In lane 8, strong finish from James Halliday.
Yeah, as he just hits one or two buoys, but is able to recover very well there from that little buoy hit and crosses the line in second place.
In third place from St George, Christopher Jones. On the far side, the Masters A, Bo Fleming from Lake Macquarie. AJ Arenas, Lake Macquarie finishes 5th. And in 6th place, Ivan Bonus from Lake Macquarie as well.
And quite a good finish there from all those scullers. Really good bit of rowing. It was pretty professional from everyone. So race 116 is now lining up on the course, I believe, or is now underway. And from Newcastle Uni, we have David Hillsop, I assume the dad of Rowan Hillsop, a good rower down there at Newcastle. Glebe, we have Robert Fendel. So we have E grade 24 seconds, David Hillsop. F grade 18 seconds, Robert Fendel. The great Glenn Shooter, father of James Shooter, a very good athlete a year or two ago. 18 seconds, it's F grade. G grade, 10 seconds, we have Mark Williams. Also on 10 seconds, we have Richard Jones. And H grade off go, we have Andrew Spansky. And Glenn Shooter, I think, is the president there of St George Rowing Club and has done a great amount for the shed and is a fantastic oarsman and fantastic person as well. Does a lot for the sport of rowing and for his shed. Used to row the double with his son, James Shooter, and James was a fantastic oarsman that I've had the pleasure of rowing with. It was a couple of years back. And definitely takes after his father. So good to see these guys battling it off down the course. And I think at the 1500, the 500, my apologies, that seems like the colours of Mossman's, Mark Williams.
Yeah. The big Mark Williams. I think that looks like the sculler from Drummoyne may be a scratch. Richard Jones seems to be a gap in some of the lanes. But yeah, looks like Mark Williams got quite a good lead on the rest of the field.
Yeah, you're right. It does look like there's a little bit of a scratch there. That would have been a last-minute thing, so that's Richard Jones would have scratched. But they've all had a decent crack here at Andrew Spansky, who looks like he's he's just dropping off the pace just a little bit, despite his handicap that he had.
Yeah.
But as we said before, I think it will be Mossman, Mark Williams. And Mossman doing a great job here in this regatta. We've had quite a couple of Mossman Masters here able to muscle their way through, which is fantastic to see.
It looks like it's going to be pushed, Mark Williams, by Robert Fendel from Glebe in lane 2. He's got a long way to go, though, in the last 125 metres, maybe.
Yeah, it looks like it might almost be a bit of a race here for the minor placings. Definitely Mark Williams has had a really dominating effect on this race, so he'll probably be taking this one out. But as we see the last 250 metres, I'm wondering here whether David Hillsop or Glenn Shooter might be able to pressure Rob Fendel. Robert is looking very, very calm and very relaxed as he's able to sort of retain that lead. So at this point, I don't think it'll happen. I think Robert's probably got a decent handle on this race. And he should be able to keep it.
Yeah. Mark Williams, great case study in sculling there. It crosses the line. Very controlled. Dominant win for Mark Williams from Mossman there.
Some very good rowing there from Mark.
In lane 3 from Glebe. Robert Fendel just holding off a late push from David Hislop from Newcastle Uni in the green boat for second. And third. In fourth place in lane 4 from St. George, Glenn Tudor. And then Andrew Spansky. Lane change, but he's going to get there eventually. If you're in the grandstand, give him a round of applause from Nepean Rowing Club, Andrew Spansky.
Yeah, and great to see these H-grade athletes I was saying earlier. It's fantastic to see them out on the water, having a crack at a very, very physically demanding sport. So really impressive from all the participants. And Andrew Spansky will finalise the field there in lane 7. As Andrew does cross the line, we have a very fun event to watch here, the mixed quad. The mixed quad is a real powerhouse event on the calendar. So I will just be calling out the clubs because there's quite a few names here to go through, and they're coming up the line as we speak. So we have in lane 1, Endeavour 3, in lane 2, Drummoyne, in lane 3, Endeavour 2, in lane 4, Hunter Valley Grammar, in lane 5, Endeavour 1, in lane 6, Hunter Valley Grammar, in lane 7, Shellhaven, in lane 8, Hunter Valley Grammar, and in lane 9, Newcastle Grammar. So quite a few Hunter Valley Grammars there, quite a few Endeavours, mixed in with some club crews such as Drummoyne, Shellhaven. So very good to see that mix of club and school athletes, as we've said before.
Yeah.
And some strong names in this one as well. So it will be good to see as they're coming through the 250 metre mark now, the 500 metre mark, my apologies.
Looks like Hunter Valley Grammar in lane 4. Well, looks like they've got the nose in front. Drummoyne are up there in the far side of lane 2, and then also Hunter Valley Grammar in lane 8 as well.
And I believe it's a Cox quad that is in the lead at the moment, which is very impressive. So that Cox quad, the schools will do the Cox quads a lot, but it does add that extra weight, makes it a lot harder to row. Maybe they're not in the lead, but I did see one there somewhere.
Last 150 metres. It's going to be close. They're all winding themselves up to the finish. I think it's going to be between the two crews from, or at least two crews from Hunter Valley Grammar in lane 4. Cox by Sam Chadwick. Stroke by Sam Chadwick.
Yeah, it is a close race here. And it looks like that crew in the middle there, lane 4, will probably take this one out.
Yep.
That's Hunter Valley Grammar.
And then it's going to be a race
between lane 8 and 2.
Yeah. Ooh, it's going to be close. Last couple of pushes, they're looking over. Hunter Valley Grammar just takes second from Drummoyne in lane 3. We take third. Sorry, Drummoyne in lane 2, we take third.
Yeah, and again, great to see these clubs racing with these schools.
Newcastle Grammar take a 4th. Tight racing for 5th, 6th and 7th position. In lane 3, Endeavour, Pip. Endeavour 2, Pip, Endeavour 1. And Haven there. Endeavour 3, crossing the line.
It must be said here, lane 5, Endeavour 1, with the coxswain and what seems to be a bit of a younger crew, you know, a really fantastic hit out to see these school crews racing with their coxswain, as they will probably need to do later in the year in their school events, and really having a crack against some of these clubs and, you know, these big athletes. So fantastic to see and very commendable there for Endeavour 1 in lane 5. And that will bring us over from the mixed quad scull through to the men's C/D grade double scull. In lane 1, we have David Doust and Mackenzie Shepherd. In lane 2, we have a scratching from University of New South Wales. In lane 3, from University of New South Wales, we have Jack Clements and Zach Partridge. In lane 4, from St George, we have Callum Dunn and Lachlan Dunn. I assume they're two brothers, so fantastic to see brothers rowing in a boat together. And in lane 5, Hunter Valley Grammar, William Hunt and Will Stedman. In lane 6, University of New South Wales, Jack Sargent and Thomas Gates. In lane 7, Newcastle Grammar, Lucas Burton and Rowan Brown. In lane 8, from Hunter Valley Grammar, Edward Walsh and Hudson Walker. And finalising our field in lane 9, University of New South Wales, Flynn Wilkinson and Scott Purves. And as they come through what is probably the 500 metre mark now, it looks like it'll be lane 2. My apologies, lane 2 or lane 1?
Lane what? It could be a scratch there. It could be University
maybe
could be Drummoyne or University of New South Wales. We can tell when they come closer.
Yeah, lane 1 to 3 there. So
yeah, and then on the near side, nearest the grandstand, we've got again a University of New South Wales boat, Wilkinson and Purves here, who are going strong as well.
Yeah, again, these University of New South Wales crews having a very good hit out in these 1 kilometre races. And certainly the men's C/D grade double scull is a fantastic event, especially for some younger, sort of fresher athletes to the sport. It's a very good event to do just to give yourself a bit of an entry into that elite side of racing.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's University of New South Wales in lane 3 versus University of New South Wales in lane 9.
Yeah,
and the crews in the middle have also come back as well.
Having a very good push, those crews in the middle, aren't they?
Yeah, that's Newcastle Grammar and another University of New South Wales boat as well. I think there's a couple of scratches in this race, which means identifying some of the boats is quite difficult. But as we come into the final 80 metres in lane 3, Clements and Partridge from the University of New South Wales, pushing for the line.
Yep, coached there by Cameron Butler, I believe, went to Yale for a little bit there to row at Yale. And back here now coaching for University of New South Wales, as those two crews in the middle have taken over from lane 9's University of New South Wales. And that's lanes 6 and 7, I believe.
That's right.
So another University of New South Wales crew, and lane 7, Newcastle Grammar, Lucas Burton and Ronan Brown. And then they have overtaken that 5th crew, lane 9, University of New South Wales, Flynn Wilkins and Scott Purves.
St George, Dunn and Dunn, the two brothers finishing 5th. In lane 8, Hunter Valley Grammar, Walsh and Walker.
And a good depth of Hunter Valley Grammar athletes here in these couple of races, and that's a fantastic sight. And they've been around the sport for many years, so very good to see them.
Yeah, good win for Edward Walsh and Hudson Walker there over their fellow colleagues from school, William Hunt and Will Stedman, who finished 6th.
And we now move to the final race before another small intermission. The next races will commence at 9:48. But this race here for 9:17, we have the men's C/D grade double scull Division 2. So in lane 1, Hunter Valley Grammar, Akasha Kamarasinghe and Hayden Melmoth. In lane 2, from Drummoyne, we have Jack Park and Alistair Simmons. In lane 3, University of New South Wales has scratched. In lane 4 from St George, we have Cromwell Oliver and Prasad Girablin. In lane 5 from Hunter Valley Grammar, we have George Hughes and Maxim Ward. In lane 6 from University of New South Wales, Harry O'Donnell and Yuri Takahara Kamel. In lane 7 from Hunter Valley Grammar, Max Bryson and Bailey Crop. And in lane 8 from University of New South Wales, Fraser Wilson and Jack Kaplan. And then Newcastle Uni has also scratched. So 2 scratchings in this one.
Yeah, I think there's a couple
looks
more
like
scratchings.
more,
Yeah, and one of the boats on the far side has pulled out, I think, by the looks of things. Can't see who exactly it is.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to row down the transit lane there, lane 0. It looks like they might have had maybe a boat issue or something just at the start line, which is very unfortunate. And it's probably a bit too close to call at this point.
I think so. Looking through the binoculars, it's looks like the 2 boats on the far side. It could be.
Yeah, they look like they're tussling up there for the win, don't
Yeah. Could be Drummoyne, could be St George, could be Hunter Valley.
they? Yeah, with all the scratchings, it is hard to tell. It'll be hard to tell until they're through into the last 250, 100 metres. It's a bit of a grandstand finish, I think.
In lane 2, I think it's Drummoyne.
Yeah, that does look like the colours of Drummoyne there in lane 2.
Green and yellow, Drummoyne.
Yep.
From St George.
Yeah, so Drummoyne and St George for sure there for these.
Yep.
And that looks like that would be first and second. They look like they're sort of looking across. They know they've got a bit of competition on their hands. They're having a battle. Just some good racing. St George there in the middle of the
It's
lanes.
be close. St George pushing strong. They look to be a bit more tidy than the Drummoyne crew. They rode through them.
It does look like they have. It looks like they've just given them a little bit of a hit, and both crews struggling a little with lane boys as well, so that might add a little bit to it.
Looks like the boys from St George. Oh, bit of a crab. Yeah.
Drummoyne there hitting that lane boy.
St George finish length and a half in front of Drummoyne, who had a bit of an issue almost on the start on the finish line there. In 3rd place from University of New South Wales. And in 4th, UNSW.
Yeah, and a good work from them there. The St George and Drummoyne crews really having a good tussle on the line, and it looks like 5th place here will go to, what I believe is
Hunter Valley.
7.
Hunter Valley Grammar School, yeah. I think those guys are going to come in 5th. I can't see the boat that is still on the course and appears to have some equipment issues at the moment. I think the umpires will guide them safely back to shore.
Yeah, a bit of a cruel reality of the sport there as well is those equipment issues and those little niggles that can happen in the sport. It is a complex bit of machinery, so you often find little things like that. Maybe a foot stretch has come loose, or feet have come off the stretcher, or a bent fin, anything like that. So it's hard to know.
So just the official results there of race 119. That was the men's C and D grade double scull. In 1st place was St George, Cromwell, Olivia and Prasad Girabalan. In 2nd place, Drummoyne, just 4.64 seconds behind. 3rd place, University of New South Wales, O'Donnell and Chimale, or Chimali maybe. In 4th place, again, University of New South Wales, Wilson and Kaplan. And in 5th place from Hunter Valley Grammar, Melmoth and Crop.
Lovely. We now move into a short 20-minute recess before the Women's Masters double scull. So feel free to go to the kiosk, grab yourself a coffee, grab a chicken schnitzel sandwich or whatever you fancy, and we can come back here at 9:48 for some more great racing here at the Reindeer Regatta.
And those of you who didn't know and you're interested, unfortunately Australia went down after a valiant attempt to Argentina 2-1. They could have stolen it in the last couple of minutes, pushed it extra time, but it didn't happen. So well done Australia, well done the Socceroos.
Did hear that this morning. Yeah, good effort there against Argentina, a very strong side. So.
And welcome back to the racing. Next race will be race 120. It's the Women's Masters Double Scull Division 1. They're just lining up. It's a good time to remind you and recognise some of our partners and major sponsors. Bentley's Chartered Accountants and Business Advisors. I'd like to thank them for their continued support. Other sponsors of note, V Insurance. V Insurance Group is proud to be the insurer and broker for Rowing New South Wales. The Regatta Shop, Pontoon Sports, Croker Oars, Bont Rowing and Mobius Brand Communications can all be found around the lake side. You'll see their tents, I'm sure. I would also like to thank Quest Apartments in Penrith for the support as the official accommodation partner for Rowing New South Wales. And if you contact Quest directly and quote Rowing New South Wales, you do receive a special rate when you are booking. Shout out to some of our caterers here, Lakeside Catering Kiosk, providing food from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. for the spectators and competitors. Race 120 just getting lined up. As they go off, this is Division 1 in Lane 1, University of New South Wales, Matthews and Hart. They are Masters A, Glebe, Masters B, Lindell, Harris, Lake Macquarie's, Griesel and Duzel, Glebe's, Skilton and Cape Wareham, North Shore's, Briones and Gibson, on D rowers, and then we've also got C Division rowers here as well. From Lake Macquarie, Kristen Berry and Trudy McDonald, Lycott's, Hutchinson and Brigham, and Glebe's, Rowe and Cecile Fair. We have a scratch in lane 9 from Drummoyne. So there's an 8-second handicap. So the first boat to go off was Briones and Gibson from North Shore. Way back, most of the boats had a 4-second handicap, and then Glebe, as Masters B, had a 7-second, and University of New South Wales had an 8-second handicap. But they're all off. This being race 120, the Women's Masters Double Scull Division 1. Now as we're coming up to the halfway mark, hard to see at this stage. Could be Lake Macquarie's Berry and McDonald. Just in front of, on the far side, could be Glebe's, Lindell and Harris. Can't really tell at this stage. There won't be much in this, only an 8-second gap between the field at the start. Looks a bit more spread out at the moment. It could be Glebe in lane 2 from Lake Macquarie in lane 6. Early showing. It looks like the Berry and McDonald in lane 6 from Lake Macquarie might just have their nose in front, but it's a deceptive angle here. From both boats giving themselves the hairy eyeball to the left and right. Going to be close. Like the boat from Glebe just up the stroke rating, pushing hard to the finish. A bit more leisurely from the boat in lane 6. Yeah, looks like in lane 2 from Glebe, Lindell and Harris take the win. Just over a boat length away from the boat in lane 6, Lake Macquarie. In third position, the compatriots, Griesel and Duzel. In fourth, it's going to be a photo, very quick. I might just give that to North Shore over University of New South Wales. Leichhardt over the line, and then finally Glebe. Just very hard to separate the two boats from Glebe there. Let's just have a look at those results. I think in first place we had Glebe, Lindell and Harris. In second place was the Lake Macquarie boat of Berry and McDonald. In third place is the other Lake Macquarie boat of Griesel and Duzel. Fourth and fifth is going to be a photo between North Shore and University of New South Wales. In sixth place was Leichhardt. In seventh was Glebe, Skilton and Wareham. And in eighth was Glebe's Roe and Fair. Very close there. It's 0.6 of a second behind. And that's it confirmed. So in fourth place, North Shore, Briones and Gibson. And in fifth place, University of New South Wales, 0.2 of a second behind. Now that was the race 120, the Women's Masters Double Scull Division 1. First place, Glebe. Second place, Lake Macquarie's Berry and McDonald. In third place, Lake Macquarie's Griesel and Duzel. Next race is race 121, Women's Masters Double Scull Division 2. Masters D rowers and E rowers here on the far side. Drummoynes, Roncolato and Hextel. In lane 2 from the North Shore, Hodgkinson and Appleton. Newcastle, Watson and Dad in lane 3. Drummoynes, Finnegan and Tucker in lane 4. In lane 5 from Endeavour is Furness and McShane. In lane 6 is Stewart and Potter. There's a scratch in lane 8, and in lane 8, University of New South Wales, Champion and Withernall. And at this moment in time, it's like the boat on the far side from Drummoyne in lane 1. And the boat from Endeavour, Furness and McShane, I think. Endeavour and Drummoyne. Battling out for first place. It looks like Drummoyne will take the win. Roncolato and Hextel on the far side in lane 1. Nice win for them, followed by about a boat length from Endeavour in lane 5. The crew from, or the Finnegan and Tucker crew from Drummoyne will take third place. Newcastle finishes 4th. Strong finish from Drummoyne's third boat there. Just over the line here in lane 8, University of New South Wales. Sophia Champion and Pamela Withernall. So race 2021, the results there. In first place was Drummoyne's Roncolato and Hexel. In second place, 3.84 seconds behind was Endeavour. In third place, Drummoyne's boat of Finnegan and Tucker. Fourth place, Newcastle. Fifth place, Drummoyne, Stewart and Potter. Sixth place, North Shore, Hodgkinson and Appleton. And in seventh place, University of New South Wales, Sophia Champion and Pamela Widnall. Next race is underway. It's race 122. It's the Women's Masters Double Scull Division 3. And in lane 2 on the far side we have North Shore. In lane 3, Glebe. In lane 4 in the middle of the pack we have St George's, Ward and McCready. In lane 5 from Endeavour is Nisbet and Brennan. In lane 6 from Mossman is Ann Taylor and Margaret Small. And in lane 7 from Drummoyne is Miladinovic and Warner. And some big disparities in some of the timings here. Mossman were first off, but they had a 21 second over most of the boats, North Shore, Glebe and St George, and a 12 second over Endeavour. So looks like some of those boats have pulled back. Certainly the Endeavour and St George boats have made up that 21 second gap on Mossman. So it looks like Mossman, Endeavour and St George going for finish in the final 50 metres. Just looks like St George has got their noses out in front of Endeavour and Mossman. In lane 4, St George, Joanne Ward, Kristen McCready, having come back from 21 seconds behind. Take a good win there over the boat from Endeavour, who only had a 12-second disparity. So Lindy Nisbet and Chris Brennan from Endeavour. And Mossman finished third there. So some great times made up there from those G and F Masters rowers. On the far side, in lane 2 from the North Shore, Sainty and Samat finished fourth. And Glebe's Catherine Maxwell and Mika Kelly finish fifth. So the results from race 122, the Women's Masters Double Scull Division 3. In first place with a time of 4:40 from St George, Joanne Ward and Christine McCrindle. On second from Endeavour, Lindy Nesbitt and Chris Brennan. In third from Mossman, Ann Taylor and Margaret Small. In fourth from North Shore, Catherine Sainty and Karen Samut. And in fifth place from Glebe, Catherine Maxwell and Mika Kelly. Okay, we change pace slightly here. Race 123, Man's Masters Pair, 1,000 metres. We go from A right through to F rowers. The F, obviously, F rowers in lane 6, 7 and 8 from Sydney, Glebe and North Shore go on the button. In lane 5, we've got from North Shore the E rowers, 6 seconds behind. In lane 4 from North Shore, we have the D rowers, 11 seconds behind. In lane 3 from University of New South Wales, the C rowers, who are 15 seconds behind. And in lane 2 from University of New South Wales, the B rowers, who are 18 seconds behind. And then finally, in lane 1, the University of New South Wales, Chris Burns and Michael Prickford, who are 19 seconds behind. And as we look just over halfway, looks like the North Shore boat of Eric Luck and Chris Walsh, the F grade Masters, look like to be slightly ahead here. Nobody managed to pull them back, but on the far side, University of Newcastle's boat, Nicholas Lazarou and George Lazarou, seem to be going all right, as does Ben Whalen and Matthew McEnroe. Oh, sorry, Andrew McEnroe as well. So can these trailing boats run down at the finish? Eric Luck and Chris Walsh from North Shore done an admirable effort here, gentlemen. Last 50 metres. It's going to be close. University's Ben Whalen and Andrew McEnroe pushing very hard there at the finish. Are they going to row through North Shore's Luck and Walsh? It will go down to the wire. Luck and Walsh just pushing there. Last 2 strokes. Oh, I'm going to give it to North Shore there, just on the line. Second was University of New South Wales, Whalen and McEnroe. Third was Lazarou Brothers from New South Wales in lane 2. Fourth was the Sydney Penrith composite of McDonald and Quitzow. In 5th was North Shore's third boat. In 6th is University of New South Wales, Burns and Pickford. And in 7th, North Shore's Lawson and Smith. So just to confirm, great race there, men's masters pair. In lane 8 from North Shore, Luck and Walsh in first position. In second position was University of New South Wales, Whalen and McEnroe. Just 0.51 of a second behind. In third place, University of New South Wales, Lazarou Brothers. In fourth place was the Penrith Sydney composite. In 5th place from North Shore. In 5th place was North Shore 3, and in 6th place, University of New South Wales. 7th, North Shore 1. Looks like we had a scratch there from Glebe. Another short break here before we move on to the Sprint Championships. So we change pace now after half an hour of racing 1,000 metres. We change pace to officially the Sprint Championships of New South Wales. So 500 metres only from this point onwards at 10:30.